My husband is of kidney failure, and I've had the best news ever. His sons have taken a test to see if they're a match for Jeremy's kidneys, and they're not, which is amazing. But the reason they're not is because Jeremy's not actually their real dad. Sorry, I'm no stranger to admit that I don't like my husband's children, so this is like the best news ever. My husband doesn't know yet, but I'm obviously going to go and tell him because I just love... He doesn't need to know, but this might finally get off. He might have a heart attack in this time. For anyone that doesn't know, my husband's worth 30 million, so it's the money. It's none of yours now, Hugo, is it? Obviously he doesn't have a kidney now, so he's definitely going to like... This is the best news I've ever had in my life.
Imagine being so evil that you would lie to everyone in your family and celebrate any opportunity where you can harm them, all just to get some of his money. The thing is, he made the mistake of marrying you, but it's unlikely he wouldn't have realized by now what type of person you are.
Why don't you ever talk about the men that don't pay child support?
Because it's women like you who spread your legs with guys like that. Why don't you ever talk about the responsibility of women who choose irresponsible males to procreate with and then complain later when they're irresponsible?
No.
The women who have a one-nighter with a bartender or a guy on a motorcycle or a musician, and then you complain later on the guy's a deadbeat. He was a deadbeat to begin with.
Why nobody can ever talk to you because you don't let any...
People talk to me all day long. You can't talk to me.
No, I'm trying to talk to you and you're talking over.
Dear, don't tell me you have to do a radio show. I've been doing this for 25 years. I don't need your help.
Oh, okay. Let me, can I please just say this? I was married once before, okay? Mm-hmm. My husband and I had a child together.
Right.
After I was tired of him beating me for 2 years, I left him.
Really? But why did you tolerate it for 2 years? Can you tell me why you tolerated being beaten for 2 years? I'd like to hear about this.
My answer to that is because I was young and stupid.
Okay, I agree with you.
There you go.
You were stupid. No doubt about it. And now what are you going to complain that he doesn't pay child support? A guy who beat you for 2 years? Imagine that. The guy is irresponsible.
Right.
He beat me for 2 years, and now that deadbeat doesn't pay.
So why is it my
There's your big concern. Now we see why you're so upset about this. You chose a manifestly irresponsible, violent individual to procreate with. Then you're amazed that the guy doesn't send you child support.
He didn't beat me until
you're still, you know what, dear? You were young and stupid. Now you're old and stupid.
I would never in a million years teach my girls that they have to grow up to be reliant on a man, as you can well imagine. I would never teach my son that he should be attracted.
But Tracy, you're the same one. You're the same one who bragged that she's so strong and so tough and doesn't need a man's money. Yet you're taking alimony.
I have 3 children.
Okay, Mark.
You know what?
So, but you don't need a man's money.
All right, well, that's it.
It's always funny to see their reaction to being called out for saying one thing and then blatantly contradicting it with their own actions. It's like they expect everyone to accept what they say as the truth and turn a blind eye to what they're actually doing just so they can feel better about themselves.
What are you?
31.
And your ex-husband did what?
He's a doctor. He's a psychiatrist.
And how long ago were you married?
Up until 3 years ago.
How much older was your husband than you?
We'll say 35 years.
So he's 53?
Currently, yes.
Why'd y'all divorce?
My husband got sick with cancer, and that changed him, and it changed the dynamics of our marriage.
Is he in remission?
Yes, he is.
And who filed for divorce?
I did.
Why?
He became mentally, emotionally, and financially abusive.
He took care of you just fine up until he got sick.
Correct.
And then when he was fighting for his life, you became a snowflake. Did you have to work when you were married?
No, but I chose
No, you didn't have to. No. You chose, but you didn't pay no real bills. You didn't have no skills. Knock it off. I'm gonna be honest, ma'am. This is a whole mess. So even the way you're talking, it just sounds like, ugh. And how tall are you?
I'm 5'4".
How much do you weigh?
180.
Goodbye.
It doesn't sound like he was the one that changed. However, it does sound like you abandoned him the second you thought you could no longer use him for his money. Gentlemen, I want you to remember how these types of women have no remorse for their actions, nor do they see anything wrong with it. In their eyes, it's all about them, so do yourself a favor and avoid them.
Been up all night, but I finally solved the gender pay gap. Step 1, we ban women from becoming kindergarten teachers and dental hygienists. Step 2, we conscript them into working construction and on oil rigs. I know what you're thinking. Don't these jobs have high fatality rates? Yes. That's why, to keep from feeling guilty, we'll just think of these women as clumps of cells. That's how they're able to sleep at night. Follow for more sound advice like this.
Haven't done one of these in a while, but you'll never guess what made the ick list.
I think it's an ick when a guy has abs in his late 20s or 30s and he's not a professional athlete.
Yeah. Having abs for a guy after they've reached a certain age, unless they're in certain professions, is an ick now. I guess body shaming is all right in certain circumstances now.
Clearly, they're overcompensating for something that they have to have 3% body fat.
I've found that quite often those individuals who are unhappy with themselves are often the first to say that others are compensating for something.
Unless you're making money from your abs, why the fuck do you have abs?
What exactly would be so difficult about allowing people to be happy with the bodies that they choose to have and worked very hard to get? Because those so-called icky abs that someone doesn't like, apparently, took those gentlemen long, hard hours to get and maintain. So I guess, really, they're just going to have to accept the fact that their opinions probably don't matter to those individuals whose abs they don't like.
You are allowed to leave your perfect husband. You are allowed to end a relationship with a really great boyfriend. The kind of guy that all your friends and family love. They say you're so lucky to have found him. He checks all the boxes and he really cares about you. You're allowed to end that relationship because no matter how good he is, no matter how great he is to all the other people in your life, how much they all love him, it does not change the fact that when you get into bed beside this man at night, you feel dead inside. It does not change the fact that when you do the bedroom things, you don't feel passion. You don't feel like your body is singing and coming to life because, by the way, that's what it's supposed to feel like, FYI. You just feel like you are going through the motions of something that you are trying to get over and done with. And you don't feel an urge to be close with him throughout the day. You don't feel an urge to be affectionate. In fact, you feel resentment. And that resentment is starting to spill out in bitterness.
Of course, anyone is allowed to leave anyone, but ladies, you better be ready to be the villain, especially if that good man you're leaving is your husband. And I'm just gonna say it because most women cannot handle being the villain, which is exactly why women will make a good man out to be a bad guy. So on top of completely blindsiding her husband with divorce papers, she also oftentimes publicly bashes him in order to justify leaving him. And don't even get me started with what she'll say about him if they have kids together and she doesn't want to share them.
If you enjoyed this video, I promise you'll enjoy this next video. I will see you there.